Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
Time! Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Taylor's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Oh, now, here's Jim Coyle.
I hope that you're doing well. Good afternoon. Good day. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Jim Coyle with you as always. And starting your week off a little cold. Well, it depends on where you are, I guess, as always. But it's going to be a little icy around here. But that's okay. It needs the heat. It needs to warm up. Grand Prix of St. Pete was fun yesterday, Brian says. I think that Fred was down there. Yeah. I watched that. Alex Palou, man. Are you kidding me? Again, the dude is just, it's unbelievable. He wins that race again. He started last year winning 5 of the first 6 races with a second place in the race that he didn't win. And that included a win at Indy, his first. Is it going to be another dominant year? Tyler Reddick on the NASCAR side of things. Man, it's the same thing. We got the same thing going in both series right now. How about that? Amazing. Yeah, it's Indy time. Indy is just around the corner. The month of May. I mean, we're in March, people. Unfortunately, we're not talking more basketball, but Indiana takes the L yesterday. Not a shocker. Playing a good team. One they needed to win. I'm not going to lie, but and it was not for a lack of effort. They played hard, but they just don't have. They just don't have what they need. 22-0 bench from Michigan State to Indiana. 22-0. They get nothing from the bench. They don't have anything right now. You got Trent Sisley, who's an upcoming freshman. I mean, no offense, but I'll tell you, if people want to know why his minutes are less, he can't play against the Coyle kid right now. That dude would knock us into the next week. Big dude. It's got to give those guys time. Now, he's going to have to fill this in next year. I mean, I doubt seriously that Indiana is going to be able to make the tournament. They have an outside shot, but they have to do things that we haven't seen them do. So, there's that. Don Fischer will join us at the top of the hour. And we'll, of course, get into it. But, yeah, it is what it is there. Looking forward to Greg Rakestraw, the boys basketball tournament. We'll talk about that as well. And the conference tournaments, they're around the corner. This is the last week of regular season play. Indiana has one more home game. That's Wednesday evening against Minnesota. Eh? Then they travel to Ohio State, who just got another win. A big win for the Buckeyes, who are looking like they're going to slide in. I think they're going to end up making it. But a win at Ohio State for Indiana would if they go on a win streak, beat Minnesota, go to Ohio State and win, then go to the Big Ten tournament and get a win or two, then they can back into the NCAA tournament. That's the only way I see it at the moment. But, hey, is what it is. Is what it is. We're going to take a quick break here. The Fish is going to join us next. Got to make sure we're ready for Don to join us. Back with more right after these messages from our favorite sponsors. And don't forget, you got a chance to get this championship football.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NicoSports.com. That's NicoSports.com. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Speed Radio on this Monday. Looking forward. Don will join us here in just a second and making sure that he has all of his information. Welcome back, though. It is Monday, like I said. Indiana takes the L yesterday against Michigan State. Not a shocker there at all. But, and they gave the effort that they needed to give. They don't have the talent. It's just be honest about it. When you get outscored 22-0, and this has been an ongoing thing they just don't have a bench. And I think that was partly because, and I'll talk about this with Don, last year when this team was being put together, it was an entire team that had to be put together, first of all, and an entire staff that had to be put together. And I think that putting that staff together took away from putting the team together, but the staff is excellent. And if I had my choice to have a great staff at the beginning than a better team, I'd take the better staff because that is going to be for the future. Don Fischer joining us right now. There we go. Don, how are you, sir? Good day.
Good. All right. How about you?
Good. Doing fine. I was just talking about yesterday. Indiana takes the L, of course, against a team that is better than they are, and there's just no other way to put that. And that they simply, it wasn't for a lack of effort. They gave all the effort. I mean, I was 10 feet away from one of the loose balls, Don, to where there were no less than 6 people on the floor. I mean, seriously, just at it. And I'm like, okay, you're giving that kind of effort. They just don't have the talent, the depth. They get outscored 22-0 on the bench. And that's kind of where it's been for this team.
Well, it has. There's no question. One of the things that I've said recently, because I've thought about it quite a bit, is that none of these guys on this basketball team, with the exception of maybe Sam Alexis, and he was hurt part of last season, none of these guys have gone through a full year of playing college basketball at this level. These were mid-major players that were mostly recruited by, they were recruited by Darren DeVries, but they were the guys they could get out of the transfer portal. And I think they've lost, I think they're tired. I think this is a group that hasn't gone through this grind of Big Ten conference basketball, Power 4 conference basketball. These guys have never done that before. And what they did early in the season, you could see the exuberance, the toughness, the heart, the intensity, the level these guys played with. And we haven't seen any lessening of that intensity level in my mind.
No.
They're still playing hard. They're still working their tails off, but they are limited. They don't have a strong bench at this point. Confidence has waned with some of the guys that have been coming off the bench. There's no doubt in my mind that that's a big problem. But more importantly, the physicality and the strength and size of these teams that Indiana is facing right now, Indiana can't match up. And when they can't match up, you're in trouble. There's no doubt about it. And playing hard and with intensity and doing and executing the things that your coaches are asking you to do, it doesn't matter when you don't match up. It does not matter.
Absolutely. The Jimmies and the Joes outplay the X's and the O's at some point. And I was talking about, I'm not making excuses. I usually don't. I say what I see. But this season, I think that having to put together an entire team for this basketball program, but he was also working on putting together a staff. And he has a great staff now going forward.
I agree.
And I think that is great for the future. And if I had my druthers, if I had to pick having a better staff over a better team for the first year, I'd rather have the better staff because I'm thinking long term. And I'm not making, like I said, I'm not trying to make an excuse here, but hey, I'm going to let them do what they do this year, and then next year you move on. They still have a shot this year. This season's not over with.
No, it's not. And that's the good news, because they still got 2 games left in the regular season in the Big Ten tournament. So there is still a path to get to the NCAA tournament. I mean, I know it's slim at this juncture. There's no question about that, but there's still a path. So there's still that goal, that carrot that's stuck out there on the end of the stick. That's still a possibility. And the only way that they can do it now is to win here the next couple of ball games, get in the Big Ten tournament, and maybe win a couple more. Then all of a sudden that may change things. But they're in a world of hurt in regard to postseason play at this juncture.
There's no doubt about that. And the Big Ten tournament coming up, they've got one more home game coming up here this week. Wednesday night against Minnesota. Then they travel to Ohio State, who's kind of hit a burst on. Ohio State getting a big win, and they were in the same situation as Indiana was. They're in that similar position and say, hey, they needed to win. Right. So that turns into a big game. So there's still some big games coming up. You get the win if you beat Minnesota. If you can go to Ohio State and get that win a couple games in the Big Ten tournament, right? You're back to life.
Yeah, and at this point, I liked what you said there in regard to Darren DeVries and his staff, because I think the critical thing right now, and it was going to be the critical thing throughout the season no matter what, is that you've got to be able to go out and recruit. You've got to get guys out of the portal that fit your criteria. I think Darren did a great job with that with this group of guys. Otherwise, they would have not coalesced like they have throughout this season and been the team that they've become. Granted, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and things have kind of gone sideways for a couple of players on this team too that have not played quite to the capability we thought that they would at the beginning of the year. That doesn't mean that they're bad players. It just means that the confidence level started to wane a little bit, and that's kind of, it's rolled over and continued snowballed into a negative. So we'll see. I mean, again, there's still 2 ball games left. Obviously, the Minnesota ball game on Wednesday night is senior day for this Indiana basketball program, and they've got a bunch of guys that will be gone after this year, and they're retooling at this juncture. They have to retool, and they've got to get a stronger physical, size-wise roster than they've had this season, because I think that's one of the biggest issues with this ball club.
Yeah, and people asking why lots of questions, but why is Trent Sisley not playing more? And my answer has been, well, did you see Coyle yesterday? I mean, that dude's a man, and Trent's still a freshman. He's still going through the learning curve. It's not. I don't think he's ready for that. Is all that it is, and it's just that simple. I mean, these guys are still growing, and you've got this age gap between people that could be up to 25 years old and versus an 18 or 19-year-old. It makes a difference.
There's no question. And look, confidence is a funny thing. If you're playing well, all of a sudden, anybody can have a lot of confidence when you're playing well. It's how you fight through that if you're not playing well. And that's part of the learning curve, especially for a freshman in this league. That's a big part of it. So the naysayers and the negatives and the critics and those people who think they know basketball and go out there and make all kinds of statements and things like that about this team and how they're not very good. And so you can have your opinion, but that doesn't make it so. And that's my opinion.
That's exactly right. I mean, speaking of, there's the Ristic kid. He went through the injuries. There's just so many things that just didn't work out for this team from the start. They were so many injuries.
Well, one of the other, Josh Harris, has not played a game this year. Obviously, here at the end of the season, he's been able to practice a little bit more. Still not full go. So, he's a guy that's taken the entire season to get well again. And he's got a big body. I mean, he's a big, strong, physical kid. He could play some for this ball club, and he would have played a lot for this basketball team had he not gotten hurt before the season ever started and went through fall camp and didn't get a chance to practice or play. So there is so much positive to look forward to in the future. I know that's hard to say, or sometimes you don't feel that way about it because the losing does take its toll on people's minds and the thinking process and that kind of stuff, but can't lose sight of the big picture.
And the success of football puts more pressure on basketball. And it's hard to explain, but these are, and it's not just simple enough to say these are different sports because they are, but it is different. But I'm not taking away anything what Kurt Cignetti did. It's remarkable. So please do not think that. But I just think basketball is different. I mean, look around, look at other teams that are having the same. Kentucky, one of the most dominant programs. What are they doing? They're doing the same thing, man. This is a different world, and it's just not what it is. And I'm not going to. I just see it so much, and there's nobody that is more honest than I am. But I've just seen too much right now. I'm like, dude, this is the first year. Y'all need to back up. Slow your roll and just understand things. And I think that's not going on with the fans very well.
Well, fans, and look, we've known this forever. Indiana fans have great expectations for Indiana basketball, have for years. And I want to point out that for years, we haven't exceeded expectations by any stretch of the imagination.
Absolutely.
It's been a long road. It's had to take its journey. And it has taken a journey, and there have been some pops, and there were pretty decent, a couple of Big Ten championships under Tom Crean, that kind of a thing. But we haven't seen it now in the last 10 years. We have not seen a program that resembles what it once was, is all I'm saying. And unfortunately, that's the case. And you got to dig yourself out of that hole. And the only way to do that is to give this guy a chance.
There's no doubt about that, Don. You've got. Are you done with the coaches shows or?
We have 2 shows left. We will do tonight's show, of course, which is at Hoosier Hanks at 7:05. And then we'll have a second show. We'll have our final show, I should say, for the season coming next week. Now, there's a problem with that because we don't know when Indiana's going to be playing, whether it's going to be on Tuesday or Wednesday. And it doesn't matter because if Indiana does get into the picture at this point, we understand they'll probably be playing an early game on Wednesday. Right now is how the standings show up. They'll be playing the earliest game on Wednesday or one of the 2 early ball games on Wednesday. If that's the case, the team will probably leave on Monday for Chicago. If that happens, then we may have to we may do the last show either on tape or we will do it at the hotel in Chicago, if that's when we have to travel and get up there and hopefully get there in time to do a show on a live basis. That's what we're hoping for if they have to leave on Monday. And right now, that's what it looks like.
Absolutely. Then, of course, you've got the game coming up on Wednesday, Indiana taking on Minnesota in their last home game of the season, senior night.
Yep, senior night for this Indiana basketball team, and they've got a bunch of seniors that'll be standing out there.
Boy, they would do like 8, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows what the portal will bring too. So you just don't know what kind of roster you're going to have at this point. You never know that now until the season ends and you figure out who's going to stay and who's going to leave. That's the biggest issue that you've got to deal with. And now, of course, we're going to have the new executive director of basketball for Indiana, Ryan Carr, on the show tonight, and he will be at Hoosier Hanks to join us for that. So the last half hour, a good portion of the last half hour, will belong to Ryan Carr.
Well, there you go, and that is a very maybe the most important piece that has been added to this entire team when it comes to staff and players right now. It's going to be a huge emphasis. You know him. I mean, your wife used to work with the Pacers, so you know how important what he does. Oh, still does. Damn, yeah. I didn't know that. Well, Good for her.
We've known Ryan Carr. We've known Ryan Carr since he was a manager for Coach Knight, so we've got a great relationship, and this guy will get the job done. He's really good.
Don Fischer, the voice of the Hoosiers. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Appreciate you. Make sure you go out to Hoosier Hanks tonight. If you're in Bloomington, you can catch the coaches show. And if not, you can catch it, I believe, on however they broadcast it. I think it's via YouTube or it's on radio as well. So, yeah, there you go. You can catch them all over. All over. It's going to be tough for Indiana to find their way back into the tournament space. They will end up, even if they did, that would be at last 4 in Dayton. And that's just, boy, that is just a rough way to go when you have to go through that, even if you do make it in. Then, and if they don't, I have to look this up. This stupid, I shouldn't say stupid, but the Crown Tournament. I believe that the first 2 teams that don't qualify for the NCAA tournament are supposedly, quote unquote, required to play in the Crown Tournament. Which is in Las Vegas. And it's in its 2nd year now. And it's the brainchild of Fox. It's broadcast on Fox. It's pretty much owned by Fox, which is the Big Ten. But they also, I think it was the Big 12 and the ACC that came together to form this. But those conferences, I believe, as part of
making it run, there are only 16 teams in it. And it's primarily from the Big 10, the Big 12, and the Big East, my bad, with some at large. This tournament is designed for teams that did not qualify for the NCAA tournament. Selection, 2 automatic qualifiers from the Big East, Big 10, and Big 12, as well as 10 at-large teams. Where is the I've got to find that later, but I'm pretty sure that Nebraska won it last year. So, hey, there you go. That shows they were a team on the rise. So, yeah, we'll talk more about that. We'll take a quick break. Greg Rakestraw will join us. Appreciate you for being with us. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC, local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday, getting your week started. Greg Rakestraw from the ISC Sports Network joining us now. Greg, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. You get the mobile version of me due to 2-hour snow delays this morning for school. So you get me in the midst of the dad shuttle today. Yes.
Is it icy in Indianapolis? Or was
it's not icy, buddy. We got about 2 or 3 inches of snow overnight. Now,
did you really?
It's warm enough here that like most of the stuff on the roads has melted already. So it's that nice March and April pretty snow that doesn't last long. By the end of the afternoon, it should be gone. But I was able to walk by my daughter's room about 6:25 and said, "Hey, sleep in today." So son has been dropped off. Daughter coming up in about 20-25 minutes.
Not bad, not bad. I know it was a busy weekend. The girls' basketball, high school girls' basketball tournament gets put in the books. The boys' basketball tournament about to get underway. And IndyCar returns. Some guy I've never heard of wins the race, Alex Palou. Gee whiz. I watched that race, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Again, I'm like, he is making it intriguing because now you're watching it to see if he cannot win, if he can be beaten, which in auto racing of any kind, that's crazy.
Correct. And obviously you've got Tyler Reddick doing the same thing from a NASCAR standpoint right now. I talked about
that very thing this morning, Greg. I'm glad you saw that.
Yeah, the Palou thing, frankly, is less of a surprise than Reddick. Not that Reddick's some sort of chump or unknown. It's just that frankly, Palou's been doing this for the last couple of years. And I forget the person that put this on Twitter, But the last time during an IndyCar season that Alex Palou was not the points leader was June of 2004. Or 24, I should say, not 2024. So it's been 21 months of competition that he has been in the lead of the point standings. Basically, he has won the championship, 4 of the 5 years he has been running for Chip Ganassi. And because of the unique nature of his situation, where he had signed to go to McLaren with the idea of potentially going the Formula One route, and when he felt that wasn't going to happen, he elected to break the contract and stay with Ganassi. I think he's largely frozen out from being a Formula One driver. In other words, he's young. He's on the best team. Clearly, he is potentially at a different level, but combination of driver and team of anybody else in the series. I'm saying all these things, Jim, to say, folks, he might be rewriting the record books. And we have talked about, his teammate in terms of Scott Dixon, who has caught Mario Andretti in terms of career wins, is not going to catch A.J. Foyt. This is blasphemous to say. It's a potential that Palou might do it because he's young enough, and I also don't think there is an avenue for him to go someplace else. The guys that have tried to go from IndyCar to NASCAR, it hasn't worked. Frankly, the reverse is the same. In other words, I think he's in this series for a long time, and I'm not sure anybody's catching him anytime soon. The only equalizing factor might be is that they are 2 years away from going to a new style of race car. This car has been in use since 2012. It's going to be in use through this year and through next year. In other words, what we saw yesterday, we might see for the rest of this season, and we might see it for next season too.
Yeah, because we've seen that in like in NASCAR, when they change those cars, it changes who the dominant drivers are, which is crazy. But yeah, but the weird thing is, while he is so dominant, there are so many other great drivers in the damn field.
Correct. And if you look at 1 through 10, there was a lot of parity in terms of teams. And so what is different this time around is that this race has often been the outlier. And we've waited for 2, 3, or 4 weeks for the next event to happen. That is not the case this year. The schedule is front loaded. Part of that is by design. Part of that is the fact that the broadcast partner and now 1/3 owner of the IndyCar series in Fox Television is also the rights holder for the World Cup, which means there is some gaps in the schedule mid to late June and early July. So because of that, the law of unintended consequences is you're much busier in March and April than you have been in years gone by. And so they will turn around and race. They're 5 days out for the next race coming up in Phoenix. So we will get to see these guys make the quick change to an oval. And Palou has been good on ovals, has not been as dominant on ovals as he has been on road and street circuits. So we'll see how the field balances out coming up on Saturday afternoon. And yes, folks, that is a Saturday afternoon race coming up this weekend.
A little odd date, usually on Sunday, but basketball tournaments galore for you. That's a busy time of year as well, as you put one away and jump right into the other.
Correct. Things start to slow down for me in the next couple of weeks, but they're not slow this week because it's sectional week. So this is why we got snow today, because it's sectional week, and that's what happens. From the boys' standpoint, I'll be hanging out at Noblesville, and the question is, can anybody catch Fishers? Now, Carmel has been close. Westfield played them to a great game, and you can make the argument Hamilton Southeastern, other than Fishers, is the hottest team in the state right now. They have beaten Carmel and Lawrence North in the last couple of weeks, and because they are Fisher's chief rival, that is always a little bit different if those two teams were to get together and they would play in the semifinal, I believe. No, they would not play into the championship. HSE and Westfield would be in Carmel's half of the bracket up in Noblesville. It's where I'll be stationed all week long. From the girls' standpoint, we have crowned 4 champions: Borden, Eastern, Belmont, and Center Grove. I think the first 2 games were a little surprisingly one-sided, maybe not so much in 1A. And in the 3A and 4A games, I thought the games played out exactly as advertised. They were going to be very defensive-oriented games and 2 very well-played games. Those were the 2 games I was in the call of, and they were a whole lot of fun.
Well, yeah, and they usually are, and looking forward to that as it continues. And then what else is on the busy schedule for Mr. Greg Rakestraw?
For me, it's primarily high school basketball this week. I'll work in a little bit of small college basketball with the Marion women, who are number 4 in the country in the NAI. They'll play in their conference championship game tonight. I get to do the Horizon League quarterfinal on Sunday afternoon at the Corteva Coliseum. So the Horizon League tournament actually starts tonight. Then everybody plays on Wednesday. 5 teams get to come to Indianapolis. I'll do the 4-5 game on the men's side on ESPN Plus Sunday afternoon at 3:30. The Horizon League tournament keeps me hopping Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's why I say, and it sounds counterintuitive as we get to March. My schedule actually starts to slow a little bit once I get through sectional week. So I get to stop and smell the roses a little bit. Plus, I also pick up college baseball. It's like my first college baseball game is in 15 days. So the season shifts quickly. But again, I once I get to the middle of March, I do start to work at a little bit of a slower pace.
About the time to stop and smell the roses will be time to run for the roses.
Correct.
As I heard that, but and we're not that far away from the month of May, man.
No.
I mean, it's the glow. It just doesn't stop spinning, baby.
No, it does not. But that's why you and I get to do what we do for a living, right?
Absolutely. The boys basketball tournament coming up should be as spectacular as always as they head into the state finals, which are always a fun and big time. And I think that now with a coach at Indiana that has to, he's more into the recruiting and his staff as well as Purdue. I think that this year at the state finals, you're going to see a bunch of college coaches, which you usually do, but maybe more so this year, even though the amount of talent is not quite there, if that makes sense.
I would say it all depends on who is playing. Like if we get a Fishers and Pike state championship game, which that would be the top 2 teams in each half of the bracket in 4A. I think it will be Millionaires Row to keep tying things back to the Kentucky Derby, because you would have Jason Gardner. You would have Isaiah Hill, who was at the IU game yesterday. You would have Landon Lampley, the younger of the 2 Lampley brothers that would play for Pike. Buddy of mine is on the Notre Dame staff. I saw him at Pike and LC 2 weeks ago, and he threw kind of Jahari Miller, their junior guard, into that mix. That Notre Dame would have interest in him. Probably doesn't have the same level of national interest as Hill, and to a lesser degree Landon Lampley at this point. But if that's the game in 4A, absolutely. 3A is a little bit different, even though Silver Creek is considered to be one of the best teams, period, in the state. And I really believe that Cathedral is the one team that could beat Silver Creek, and they would not see them potentially until they got to the semi-state round. They've got multiple Division I kids, but not the higher end Division I kids. And a couple of those seniors are already committed at this point from that Silver Creek team. And then for the 1A and 2A standpoint, that's always a little bit different. That's more of the community-based guys, and occasionally you'll get a Jack Benner that will play in one of those games, or a Caleb First back in the day that will play one of those games. I don't think that's the case this year, although if Oak Hill makes it down, they've got some really young talent, and that's a unique story in that their best players, their dad's the head coach at Indiana Wesleyan, which is one of the best small college programs in the country. And if I had to pick favorites, for the morning session, probably Couts and Bar Reeve in 1A. The Mustangs from Couts are undefeated. Bar Reeve is good every year. Bar Reeve's got a tough section they got to get through. But if they can do that, I think they're probably the best team in the southern half of the 1A bracket. In 2A, I would probably lean a little bit towards Park Heritage, who has went out and played a great schedule, knowing they were going to be really good this year in that Oak Hill team. And then I will tell you this, Jim, again, Silver Creek's the big favorite in 3A. The northern half of the 3A bracket is wide open, in part because South Bend St. Joe is playing up, and they have a chance to do some damage in 4A. The 4A area in the South Bend area is really loaded and as good as it has been in some time this year. So we'll see how things play out.
Well, that's always what makes it fun, man, is not knowing. And it's going to be another one. Looking forward to some upsets, but I definitely do not want to see, I don't like to see in high school basketball or college those upsets early. I want to see the good teams play, which some of the upsets are fun and you're going to get them. But at the end of the day, that's what fans want to see, the good games. You just mentioned a potential Fisher's Pike game. Well, that's the dream scenario, but that's what we want, right? Doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately, but man, it would be spectacular if it does. And especially in a year where the talent's not quite as high, but maybe there's a little bit more parity. We'll have to see.
Correct. And so much that kind of depends on regional matchups too. And again, those are drawn. And those have been out of my head for 8 days. I don't have them exactly committed to memory. But like in the northern half of 4A, you're looking at potentially Crown Point, some good team from the South Bend area. So whether it is Northridge, whether it's Riley, whether it's Penn, whether it's St. Joe to be in that group. I do know that the Carmel sectional winner plays one of the Fort Wayne school winners, and it's been kind of a down year in terms of the Fort Wayne area. So you would think whether it's Fishers, maybe Carmel should get through to the semi-state from that group. As far as Southport, which one of the 4A regional is concerned, I don't think Lawrence North and Pike play each other in the regional round. If those are the two likely favorites, Pike and Plainfield's probably the best, or sectional game in 4A, and they play each other in the semifinals of a 5-team get together there. One of the top 5 teams in the state will go home after the first night of the tournament. That's simply kind of the nature of what it is. Jim, I'll tell you this from a sectional standpoint, and I probably said the exact same thing in football this year. There is a lot of conversation about should we be seeding tournaments or should we not. If you look at the draw, it almost looked like it was seeded. There are a lot of sectionals that were 6-team sectionals or more that ended up with like the 2 best teams in the opposite half of the bracket. And in some cases, the 2 best teams, kind of got the draw. Again, Pike and Plainfield is kind of the obvious exception to that. But in a 5-team sectional, it's a little bit harder to avoid people in terms of a blind draw like that. So I do think it is set up, and especially at a level like 4A and probably to a lesser degree, the southern half of the 3A bracket, where really most of the good teams don't see each other until the regional or semi-state. Pike and Plainfield, potentially Fisher's Carmel or Fisher's HSE in a championship would be the other half of that.
Well, it's going to be loaded no matter what, and fun no matter what. So, and if it's not top loaded, well, that gives a shot for other people. But no matter what, you get a chance to go out to some of these great gyms. And that is half of it for me, whether it's at the, well, you don't get to go to the old Wigwam anymore, but down in, daggone it, who am I thinking of? Down in Southwest Indiana.
The Hatchet House, Washington, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I started to say Washington, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But it's because I wasn't thinking Hatchet House. So great gyms all over Southport, and that's Newcastle. Seymour, man. So looking forward. It's just so much. It's a time of the lives of some of these kids. I'm telling you, some of my best memories I have from high school. I was not a basketball player. Wasn't good enough at Floyd Central. And but some of the funnest times I had was going to sectional, regional, and all that stuff. It was a blast, and I still remember it all.
Same here, buddy. Same here. Absolutely.
What is up next for you?
So Noblesville, like I said, Marion and St. Francis tonight. That's number 4 versus number 6 in the country from an NAI and women's basketball standpoint. Then those teams begin their postseason next weekend, the regional round, hope to make the national tournament. And then at the Mill in Noblesville for Zionsville and Noblesville and HSE in Westfield. That is my doubleheader tomorrow night.
That'll keep you busy, buddy. Appreciate you as always.
You got to talk next week.
Absolutely. There he goes. Greg Rakestraw from ISC Sports, but everywhere else, as he is all over the place. And so plenty going on. in the world of sports, whether you girls basketball fan in high school, that just wrapped up. Boys is about to get underway. College basketball, enjoy it no matter what. Even if you're an Indiana fan, they're going to end up somewhere probably. I think that they play postseason this year just because, for one thing, it makes you money. Like going to that Crown tournament, and it's difficult, but I'm of the mind that, and I'll look it up in the next break, try to look further, but I think that there's a requirement for the first two teams of the Big 10, the Big 12, and the Big East that do not make it into the NCAA tournament, that they're, I hate to use the word required, but they're supposed to play in the Crown tournament because, again, the Big 10, basically owned by Fox in essence, but not quite true. But anyway, the relationship is deep, and that is how they thought that they could get that tournament to be bigger and better than, say, the NIT, which that is owned by the NCAA. So that doesn't help the conferences per se. And so that's how and why that deal is set up. Whether that continues to go, I don't know, because no one pays attention to the NIT. How much people will pay attention to the Crown, I don't know. We'll have to, but it's in Las Vegas. Now that's an opportunity for people to take a little spring trip if they'd like, but not so much if they don't. I'll go ahead and bring Dustin in. Dustin, will still have 6 minutes before the break.
Hey, cool.
So, since you're here, how was your weekend?
Let's talk. How was my weekend? It's a great question. What did I do? I don't know. There was basketball.
Boy, was there everywhere.
Some folks are in town for the combine, so that was nice.
There was a few people. Yeah, you know what? I haven't even talked about the combine. I forgot about that. There's been so much this morning, but yeah, the combine comes to a close. It was a lot of IU guys out there, but just a lot of. I wish that the combine would stay in Indianapolis forever. It is the perfect place for it. They've got another year of it at least, I think. Guaranteed in the contract, but like they moved the draft around, which that's fine, but I think they should leave the combine where it is because there's so much that goes into this, and Indianapolis does it very well. It's centrally located, but other towns would like to have it. It brings millions of dollars into the economy.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it was interesting. Like I said, I was just hanging out with other sports writers. I mean, I wasn't talking with anybody with any level of decision making here, but I think just one of them just said in passing, like they're never going to move this thing. Every time they talk about it, it's like they don't realize that it's not it's going to be weirder anywhere else. It makes for this cool little communal experience that I don't think anybody wants to trade necessarily. I mean, because you look at, I mean, I just think about how the NBA does its other stuff, like basically it's combine / lottery and it's summer league. And it's all in places where everything's spread out. Like you're everybody's someplace else. I mean, like, the combine's in Chicago and it's in the middle of the playoffs. So you're only even covering it as a media person if the team you cover is already out. It's not a very big social event at all. And nobody's staying for more than, 2-3 days. I'm interested this year. If the Pacers don't win the lottery, I guess I just leave. I don't know what I do in that case. I've got to be there, but if they don't get one of those top 4 picks, what am I doing? Wouldn't
that, but how badly would that suck?
Oh,
because that's been all of the conversation.
Sure. It's still, it would be significant, but I think at the end of the day, the reason they made it is because, hey, like Zubac was that important. Getting a 5-man that they could trust was that important to risk this. And so they wouldn't have made the deal if they didn't really believe that. So their view is, hey, if you're getting a top 4 pick, we should keep the top 4 pick, but it's more important considering what's there at 5 to 9. We're better off having Zubac than what we would get from 5 to 9. That's at the end of the day, the calculus that, that's the only way that you make this team championship level is you go get Ivica Zubac. So that's necessary. But to get back to the point, like the initial question, like they love, the people love this basically, whether it's media, whether it's, like execs, scouts, coaches, whatever. Like, they hang out at Prime 47 like all weekend, and not all weekend, all week. And it's a deal. It's a social experience. I mean, and it's not like anything else that I can tell in any other sport. And if you moved it to Vegas, or you moved it, you wouldn't move it to Chicago, but if you moved it to Las Vegas, or you moved it to LA or whatever, like it wouldn't be nearly the same. Like part of it is that you pack everybody in, on like, basically in that downtown block inside of like, I don't know, 4 or 5 streets. And that's where everybody stays and everybody can walk to all the bars and, that sounds like it's the whole deal, but it's a significant part of it. On top of being able to go to where everybody's being evaluated, where they're doing all the interviews, where they're, Lucas Oil itself, everything is so tight to the point.
It's just Maxine getting her picks in right now.
But yeah, anyway, I'd be surprised if they moved it. I think every year they think there's going to be someplace else they can find that will be better, and they don't. So
the show's going to the dogs. It's the
she's really been in control of it the whole time.
They have the puppy bowl. This is the puppy draft board.
Yeah.
We'll just do the puppy draft board. Maxine getting her draft board together.
She's got real thoughts on that. She's
a deep thinker. Maxine is a deep thinker.
What's that?
Maxine's a deep thinker.
She is. She's got lots to discuss here, and she is not afraid to share her mind at all.
Hey, I know that you don't. It's not your beat, but as the tournament is coming up in college basketball,
sure.
Indiana obviously not likely to make the NCAA right now.
They're not good right now. Yeah.
No, but so. They've got this new Crown tournament that is this is like year 2, I think.
Sure.
That was the Fox pretty much owns it, which makes it a Big Ten thing. But Big 10, Big 12, ACC teams, those are kind of the founders of the feast. But each 2 teams from each of those conferences are required to play, or supposedly required to play in it, if they don't make the NCAA tournament. And if they turn down the Crown, they're not allowed to play another. Oh, you can't play in the NIT if you don't play in the Crown. Well,
right.
That'll really dissuade you, huh? But I'm just wondering if Indiana plays in Las Vegas, or do they go right into
the offseason? I mean, I think
because they're going to have 8 guys that leave. And that's minimum.
Yeah. I mean, like, my view is they should play, but then I don't, I am not a stakeholder in any way, shape, or form. So, like, it's I ain't coaching the team, and not like I ain't covering the team. So, it's not like they're going to, even from an objective standpoint, it's not like that I'll say anything positive or negative afterwards. I mean, my just off the cuff, you just brought it up and I wasn't even thinking about it. Thought on this is that they should play. And my general thought most of the time is teams should play, because I mean, like on one hand, like these kids only get so many basketball games, until.
Yeah. Well, let me cut you off there and we'll hit the break.
Up on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Dustin Dopirak from the Indy Star with us, back with more right after these messages. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Speed Radio. It is Monday. You're with us. We appreciate you. Jim Coyle getting in for me. Dustin Dopirak from the Indy Star, as usual. Appreciate you, sir, as always. You know, Don Fischer is on each Monday, and I'm not usually quick enough, and I wasn't today, but damn it, I had the great opportunity to use a great sound blip, and I couldn't get to it in time. Don was talking about something, and he says, well, yeah, that's that you're allowed to think that or whatever. That's and I'm looking for it before I pull it out, damn it. But that's like your opinion, man. You know, my favorite.
Yes.
And he said that very thing. And damn it,
Didn't have a Lebowski clip ready to go. Is what you're saying.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
I had it in here. That's the sad thing. I couldn't get to it quick enough, man. I was like, damn it. I mean, I was like, but of course, Don would have looked at me like, what the hell is that? I'm pretty sure he's never even heard of the.
Don probably knows.
I doubt it. Nope.
Okay, fair.
I'm going to go negative on that.
I could go 50-50 on that. I could see. You know what? He used to have. This is a true story. He had. I think it was it. Hey, no. He had an Outkast song that was his phone ringtone for a while.
Ringtone?
Yes, swear to God. It was. This was
Oh,
back.
I've got to remember that next week.
2011. I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't think it was Hey I think it was something else. But like we were shocked. Like it started ringing. We're like, whose phone is that? And Don picks it up, and we were like, hold on a minute. How did this? I was like, I love that song. I'm like, okay, Don. Like, and I mean, Don's more hip than you might think. You know, he's got his anti-hip stuff, but you know, like. If you could say that, I don't know, one way or another. Don's more with it than, you know, than I think some people might expect.
I'm not going to call him technically challenged. I'm going to call him technically revolting. He does. He rebuffs it. He rebuffs all technology.
Fair. That's fair. Anybody that, and sometimes as I'm aging, I'm starting to get it, man. You know, I'm starting to be like, wait a minute.
Too, because it's a hell of a lot less stress. It's a lot less crap you got to worry about or deal with.
Yeah.
If I mention the word recruiting, just mention it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow that at all. I don't know anything about it.
If he didn't, you know, like he doesn't have to, and since he doesn't have to, it's a great. It's not a bad life.
It is not. But I think his wife does a great job of probably keeping him in tune for a lot of things.
Sure.
She might be the secret sauce.
I can see that. Yeah,
she still works for the Pacers, by the way.
I didn't know that. I
did not either.
They're a good bit, but I actually didn't know that she worked there, and that's pretty cool.
How about Ryan Carr being added to? Speaking of the Pacers, Mr. Pacers beat writer.
Indiana adds Ryan Carr as their quote unquote GM. That's not his exact title, but whatever. It's what he is.
Sure.
And there is not he might be the most important piece that has been added to this team, period.
Sure.
Because right now, what they're going through, they're a team that does not have the personnel. It's pure and simple. You've got some great guys, and they're playing Michigan State, this close.
Mm-hmm.
But this close is not enough. And this close difference was, you can look at, they got outscored bench points 22-0.
Mm-hmm.
You've got nobody coming off the bench. And hell, you got 3 starters that totaled 15 points, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, this was remarkable. I mean, I obviously the game was going on yesterday as the Pacers were getting ready to play the Grizzlies, and obviously my attention had to be wrapped on that. But I mean, like, everything I'm seeing in this box score is sort of like deeply concerning. I mean, like, after Wilkerson and DeVries, you've got 5 field goals. Sam Alexis has 3.
In the second half, Dustin.
Yeah,
nobody scored a field goal besides those 2 in the entire second half, and only 1 point, a free throw from Sam Alexis, I think.
Sheesh. So that's not good.
It's almost impossible.
It's hard to do. It really is. It's not.
I mean,
it's not
to not have a bunny, a putback, something that also goes to show they're not reactive around the rim.
No, they're not. They're not, and like, obviously it definitely seems to be like it always goes back to you end up getting the opposite of what you had last time, and I guess too often that's probably ended up being what what IU has done is just, okay, what do we have last time? Okay, that didn't work. Let's get something very, very different from that. So like with DeVries, I think your positives for him and things that I've even sort of complimented on this show is that, okay, well, you have a strategy, you have a style of play, and it does involve outside shooting in the perimeter and being 5 out basically. And that is the world at the NBA level. So, like, now just playing the style doesn't make you the same kind of team. Like, you've got to do some other stuff. And one issue that you have when it comes to stuff like that is rebounding the basketball becomes a challenge. And you have to figure out, it is at least a riddle, and you have to find an answer for it. Basically, you have to figure out what you're going to do there. And they haven't so much done that. I mean, I was just looking at their offensive rebounding percentage is like per Ken Palm is like 296th. That's not great. So yeah, I mean, you've got to find a way to get your hands on the basketball. I mean, and on the offensive end, being able to get at least some second chance points. I get the idea of leaning into 3-point shooting. There is a value to that. It makes you tough to guard, but if you're not hitting 3-point shots, you have to have at least a pretty high percentage in that case. I mean, you can hit, even if you're hitting 10, 12, 15 threes a game, that's not going to cut it. I mean, they're 10 of 35. It's nice to hit you 10 threes. That's not nothing. That's 30 points worth of production, but you're going to need more than that if you can't rebound. So yeah, it's not great. So but to go back to you mentioned Ryan Carr. So what's the point? Like, where are we getting at with this? I mean, Ryan was really in charge of draft stuff. I mean, that was Ryan's focus with the Pacers. So every year, like, our conversation with, we got one conversation with Ryan every year, and one kind of public conversation was after they were done with all of their open draft stuff. And you always got a sense that he was really sharp in understanding what was out there as far as college talent. And what I think stands out of, like, what's your high point? What's the point of hiring this guy? I think it's what he's done for the Pacers in later rounds. It's being able to find guys that, the Pacers have a history of misses when it comes to their first round draft picks. And so he has to carry some blame with that, but that's also, comes down to kind of your final decision making. I mean, like, Ryan, his job is really to kind of present the options in the menu and say, okay, well, if you want this, you have this. And if you want that, you have that. These are the guys that are available. And it's ultimately Kevin Pritchard's decision, and Chad Buchanan's, and, and more to extent now Ted Wu's, but really Pritchard's decision on, okay, who are you actually going to take here? And they've had some big misses, TJ Leaf and stuff like that. But the last couple of years, they've really turned their second round picks into useful players. You're looking at, Cam Jones has showed up pretty good since he's got some playing time recently. The season's gone in the direction it's going. Johnny Furphy, I think, has turned out to be a bit of a steal at that spot, even though he's out for a while with the ACL tear. Andrew Nemhard was an absolute find as the first pick of the second round back in 2022. Ben Shepherd is a late first round guy, has been really good. So they've turned those picks into some really useful players, and showed just the ability to if you really get the draft the whole way down, you can get some talent later on and turn that into stuff. So so that shows that Carr's going to come in there with the ability to really identify talent, identify guys that you like, have a better sense of what you should pay for it. What you should be willing to spend your money on from an NIL standpoint. Obviously he's going to have to get used to the numbers in terms of what value looks like at the college level versus what it is at the NBA level when it's kind of locked in as far as the draft is concerned. I mean, those salaries are really slotted on an even more rigid level than say in baseball, where you have a slot, but you can pay you can pay above that, you can pay below that, but that's just kind of what you have for your whole pool. In the NBA, it's like, okay, you pick the guy first, well, this is what he gets, but it's all about allocating resources, and I think Ryan's going to have a good sense of how to do that and know what it is that you want, and I think that is really important in terms of building a roster. And DeVries might look at the Pacers style of play and say, hey, that's what I want to do, actually, because he is a 5-out guy, and he probably looks at their pacing, their shooting, all of that stuff, and say, okay, that looks like a nice model for me. How do I build that? What's that look like in terms of looking at college talent, looking at transfers, looking at high school kids, how do I do this? And, I feel like Ryan Carr is about as good as that you can come up with as somebody who's going to be able to get how to connect those dots.
Yeah, well, this team needs that, and especially not just because of how they're playing right now, but going forward, they're going to lose about 8 guys minimum, and that's that's just seniors. That is not touching anyone who could potentially hit the portal, but that gives a Ryan Carr a broad canvas to work on.
Sure.
And having done this, he's already used to looking at college guys. He knows. And so that's going to be a huge benefit. But Indiana they've got to hit a home run next year. I've laid off of them this year. I'm saying, hey, I understand. But now they've got everything they need for next season going into it, prepared. The staff is together. You know what you need, you're going to know everything. You're going to it's not coming into this late. So they get the chance to do what they need to do next season. And having a guy like Ryan Carr is of uber importance, because they weren't able to put a great roster together. They have some great talent. Lamar Wilkerson, obviously, that dude, I mean, he's going to be an All-American, I would think. He's certainly trending in that way. But, 29 points again. He's probably going to end up with the highest scoring average of anybody I can remember for a long time at Indiana. I have to go back and look at those notes. But, man, that dude is averaging like close to around 24 points a game, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember who I cannot remember who did that. I'm trying to even recall.
Yeah, we've got to go back a minute.
He did 21.3 to 29 games. And I'm trying to remember an IU player who cracked 20, and really can't off the top of my head. I mean, Hood Schifino didn't. Xavier Johnson didn't. Xavier Johnson. Trace Jackson Davis never did. As far as I can recall. Yeah, he didn't. I mean, he was 18, 19, something like that. Oladipo certainly didn't do it. Cody Zeller didn't do it. Who are we forgetting? James Blackman. I'm trying to think of.
But part of it is they don't have.
Did Yogi score 20? Did Yogi crack 20?
No, not an average. But part of that is because he has to. He doesn't have any help other than Tucker DeVries, and he went through his slump. Nick Dorn kind of helped at that time, then he went away. So there's just been no help. You've got 20 points coming from Tucker DeVries in this last game. But other than that, the rest of the team, all starters included, scored a total of 15 points on like 29% shooting, where Michigan State got 35 points. That's a huge difference, man. You can't overcome that. So, but yeah, and a lot of these guys are freshmen. They're going to have guys stick around. You've got Trent Sisley, you've got Ristic, the other international guy, Josh Harris, who never even got to play. So, but they have plenty of openings, 8 openings to fill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be easier to do.
Do you have any eligibility left?
I think I have plenty of eligibility left. I don't know how much purpose it will serve you. Funny story on that. Yesterday, I asked Carlisle about Obi Toppin and like how he came through his first game. He's like, well, we played 8 minutes. He's like, you and I could play 8 minutes. I don't know what league we play. You and I could play 8 minutes. And I trust I could play 40. I just am not doing anything for you. Like, I'm running around and annoying your ball handler, but he's probably.
Oh, I couldn't play 40. Dude, I remember.
Right now.
And I tell this all the time. I can remember the moment I said to myself, this is the last time I will ever play full court basketball again. It was killing me, running up and down the floor. And I'm like, that's it. I remember it, the moment. But
the running up and down the floor is still the thing I can do. It's I just have not had a ball in my hand very much. And so every time I go pick up and shoot, it's like, what happened to your coordination? Like, not that it was great in the first place, but my God, what is going on? So I can get my mid-range back to functional. Maybe. I don't think I can hit threes. My handle isn't great. And yeah, that's about it. And so
maybe Ryan Carr
even finishing at the rim isn't great right now. So,
well, you're more like a Connor Enright.
A little bit. I can say that's the best I can say. I think I can still pass. So, we'll see. I got to get in a pickup game at some point. It's been too long, but yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, but yeah, the bottom line, my eligibility would not help anybody. I'm getting good cardio out there, but that's about the extent of it. I don't know if I'm doing anything for anybody else. Like I said, I can annoy a ball handler, but I mean, he's probably getting past me eventually. Like, he's going to be annoyed when he gets there, but he's probably still going to score and get to the rim if he's good enough. So yeah.
I can't remember when's the last time I took a break? Do you remember?
I don't know, man. I feel like that's so.
I understand. Normally I don't, but I get the conversations with you are always
so
fun.
It was 6 minutes after we started the first segment, so that'd somewhere be around the 9:45 range.
So I haven't since then. So perfect time for a break. Hey, we've got the great Dustin Dopirak with us from the Indy Star. He's a sports guy just all around, but Pacers beat writer. We'll talk some Pacers when we come back, and plenty more. Maxine called Cap.
Yep.
Not sure what that means.
Nope.
What's that mean? 5 lefts. You have to explain it.
I think I think it just means it's a lie. I think Cap is a lie. I think it's that simple.
We're back with more Indiana Sports Radio right after these messages. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, It's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level it up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NIKCOSPORTS.com. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Monday. Starting your week off, glad to have you along and glad to be with you. Jim Coyle here. Dustin Dopirak from the Indy Star joining us as well. Pacers beat writer, and Dustin, the season, it's winding down, but it's got a little bit ways to go.
Still 20-something more games of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, boy.
Yeah, still got to play them.
At least they get TJ
contractually obligated.
Yeah.
Pacers Memphis Grizzlies had to happen yesterday, and somebody had to win.
Like, they like to take an L all the rest of the way out. It'd be cool if you could forfeit. Hey, we're forfeiting the rest of the games.
They wouldn't. I imagine they would do that if given the option. I mean, it like honestly, I wonder like what they would do if you said, all right, like the rest of the we're giving you lose outs the rest of the way, but you get to play basketball if you want to, and what would you do? You know, like just for the purpose of getting guys on the floor. You know, getting
the younger guys maybe, but your stars you're going to sit, man.
I mean, they're right now. They're getting younger guys on the floor. I'd be interested. I still think there's some value to this team to getting Pascal Siakam and Ivica Zubac on the floor together. I think that's important. I don't know for how many games you'd want to do that, you know, but just at least for a couple, just to begin to build some level of chemistry there and do it in games and not just in practice, you know, in whatever that amounts to, but to actually get those guys on the floor together in games, I think has some value, because I think ultimately the entire point is build towards next season. Now, I might be biased in that, and just the fact that I'm getting tired of watching the current product. But you know, it is what it is. But I do think there's some value there to get Siakam, Nesmith, Nembhard on the floor with Zubac so they have a better sense of what that looks like. Obviously they can't get a Halliburton. I mean, they can get Halliburton on the floor with them for some limited stuff. Not right now, because, you know, Halliburton's still finishing up his time away with shingles. But, you know, as he's, you know, working out and that kind of thing, I mean, he's not going to play. And that was shut down from the beginning, but, you know, he can get on the floor and do some 5-on-5, you know, not necessarily with other guys, but I mean, he can go practice some basic pick and roll stuff with Zubac and be able to do it with the basketball in his hands. He's at least that far along in his rehab, and they can do that kind of stuff. But I do think there's some value in getting him on the floor. Wins and losses at this point, obviously, the more losses, the better. You know, it's over, basically. I mean, they are.
It's still so weird to say that in sports.
It is, but it's reality, and it's just it's what the sport is. And you can't. The other elements that kind of save baseball or football or, you know, from tanking. I won't even get into hockey because I don't know enough about it, but are, you know, sort of elemental to the game. Basically, I mean, like football, you know, you don't want to tank because you can get somebody killed. And two, you know, like if you're actively trying to lose, you know, that's not healthy. That's a good way to get somebody just crushed in a really bad way. But also, you know, like you got 22 guys out there. One guy makes a difference, you know, like, I mean, and if it's quarterback, it makes a huge difference. But, you know, that's not enough. Basically you can have a quarterback out there, and if you don't have anything else, you're still not winning. You're just getting that guy killed. You're just getting that guy crushed. So, that's not enough to just tank one time and you're fixed. Baseball, obviously, you got to send those guys, down on the farm for a while and see if they're ever going to make it. And one guy might make a difference, but, you still have 9 guys out there and 5 starting pitchers, et cetera. Paul Skeens hasn't saved the Pirates as much of an automatic number 1 overall pick as that was. He makes them better 1 day out of 5, but, the other 4, he doesn't have any impact. Basketball, one guy can change, a lot. One guy can dramatically change the trajectory of your team. So it makes a lot more sense once you've hit this point in the season. If you're not going to be there and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try to win. Just mathematically, it doesn't. I guess it's noble to try to win some basketball games and try to make sure you're putting out the best product you can for your fans. But at a certain point, your fans will reach the point that they don't really care about the product that's out there. They know the season's cooked, and they know, hey, better chance of winning, particularly in the Pacers case, where you can look at it and say, okay, all you got to do is plug somebody in. And you're looking at a team that's got a real shot to win at least the East. And isn't far off from the roster of a team that last year was 1 game away from winning the whole thing. So there's all kinds of incentive to not care at this point as far as whether you're winning or losing basketball games. It's a tough situation. I don't know how Adam Silver ultimately has to do it. I don't think just flinging, fines at people was the smartest way of approaching that. But there probably needs to be something to make this better. But in the same way, I think you got to give teams the opportunity to build themselves. And that does make for a better product, is, giving more teams a chance to be competitive. And the draft is the thing that allows you to be competitive relatively quickly, that allows you to get back. Detroit was in, at the bottom of the league for a while, and now they're the best team in the East. Houston had it pretty rough for a while, and they had a couple of really good drafts, and all of a sudden, they're at least a contender in the West. I don't think they'll win the West, but they're right behind San Antonio and Oklahoma City. So those teams are built you can look at clear examples. Now, tanking itself doesn't always necessarily work, but you can make yourself better in the draft, and not whether you're just getting players, but also getting assets that you can move later. And Houston drafts Draymond Green and makes that a Kevin Durant deal, and that's why they are where they are. So it's hard to say that, okay, well, you guys, what are you going to do that's going to make it worth your while to care about the difference between winning 15 games and 25 games? Those numbers don't matter. You're out either way. So that's a difficult thread that they'll have to balance. And for the Pacers, there's a clear objective right now. They need to be finishing the bottom 3 so they can have 52% odds of getting one of those top 4 picks. And if they get any of them, they're in good shape. Any of those 4 guys works out nicely. So that's where they stand. And now it's running out guys like Cam Jones and Micah Potter and Kobe Brown, and making some decisions as to who's going to be in what roles toward the end of the bench next year. But right now, you know who your starting 5 is going to be. You'd like to have a top 10 pick just so you can slot him into being one of your key bench guys, but you've already got McConnell and Toppin coming back to kind of anchor that bench. Plus Jarris Walker, I think, has played himself into a really good position where you feel good about him as a rotation piece next year and a guy that can make an impact. So giving Walker more opportunity still helps. It's still worth the difference, but he's playing a lot better than he ever has. And he had 21 last night. His numbers, since they've really kind of figured out their fate, have been pretty good. So they've got a lot of pieces they need. They kind of just need 1 or 2 more, and then they're and probably just 1 more, and they're a legit contender in the East. So, they're not getting that piece by winning games down the stretch.
And they're not alone in the chase for the number 1 pick. And how it works is these bottom 3 teams, what do they get? A certain amount of ping pong balls?
So everybody who's in the lottery, it's not ping pong balls anymore. It's done by ping pong balls, but what you get is lottery tickets. It's not like it. I think it used to be a point where, you were represented, like you had so many ping pong balls in the thing and they pulled it out and it was you. Now it's like basically there are it's combinations basically. Like, so it's like combinations of 1 through 14, and like the order doesn't matter. So it's like there's a certain amount of there's like 1,000 some odd total combinations, I think, and everybody gets enough lottery tickets. So like all of the combinations are accounted for, basically. And so they run one, you know, and it's like I can't remember if it's 4, 5, 6, 7 ping pong balls, something like that, like a combination of like I don't remember how many numbers. And so like, but you don't have like, it's not like the old days where you had like ping pong balls with your like logo on them and they like pulled them out of that. It's now it's, you know, like you have a, you know, again, you have like a 100 lottery tickets or something like that. Actually, it's probably more than that. And you kind of like check those off. It's almost like being, you know, like bingo or something like that. But it's, you get these lottery tickets and you see if you're still, you know, on there. And yeah, like that's the, you know, and I think it's 7 numbers, I want to say. And so you have to have all 7 for each pick. And so if you're a bottom 3 team, you have, I think, a 14% chance at each pick individually and a 52% chance at getting any of the 4. So, and I think it goes up slightly in percentage at like everywhere you move up until you're at the end of the lottery. And so I think, let me pull up tankathon.com.
50-50 for 3 is pretty good. I mean,
you get anywhere, not top 3, it's top 4. They're doing top 4 now. And that's important.
It's still pretty good. To have a 50-50 shot at those, you're going to get one of them. I mean,
you're not.
Well, I mean, it's true.
Teams miss a lot. They're not going to get one of them. I mean, if you're the worst team in the league, you're not at all promised that. And I don't, you know, there have been seasons recently where the worst team did not get one of the 4.
Wow.
You know, I think Detroit a few years back had the worst team and they got 5th. And I think now the issue that the Pacers.
See, I don't like that. I mean, I think those teams should be guaranteed.
But that's the issue, is that the reason why they had a lottery in the first place is that incentivizes tanking even more. I mean, early 80s, it was brutal. You know, I mean, I think Houston, if I'm not mistaken, if I've read their history correctly, was pretty active about going out of its way to make sure it got Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon, which it did. And so, you know, that was a time where those 2 guys just owned college basketball because they were 7 foot and skilled, and, you know, that was enough. So, you know, and they went out and got their 2 towers and they were pretty good, and they didn't win a title in that stretch until Hakeem was 10, 11 years in the league. But still, you know, it worked out for them in the long run. But yeah, it is there's, you know, so they don't like the idea of making it an absolute race for the bottom, because if you create that scenario, then the tanking is even worse than it is. So yeah, you can. So I mean, they want there to make sure there is at least some risk. But if you're the worst team, you know, and you strike out on the top 4, then you pick 5th. And, you know, recently the Pistons used that to pick Oscar Thompson, and Oscar Thompson is a perfectly useful piece. You know, one of the better defenders in the league. I mean, his brother Amen's a little bit better, but Oscar's pretty good. And, you know, like, I mean, he's, you know, I don't know if he's top 10 perimeter defenders in the league, but he's up there, and he got there pretty fast. So you tack that on to having already gotten Cade Cunningham in, you know, a couple drafts prior, Jalen Duren in a couple drafts prior, and Jaden Ivey, even though they moved him. You know, they managed to stack some pretty good players together by being bad for a few years. So you can live with getting that 5th pick. Now the Pacers are in the case where, because they've, you know, conditionally traded this pick to the Clippers, if they strike out and they get 5th, well, that pick goes to LA. So, you know, like, and there are, I get there is a dividing line. I think there's a gap between the top 4 and everybody else, but there are good players past 5th, you know, Darius Acuff and, the kid from Kingston Flemings from Houston, and Mikael Brown from Louisville, and Keaton Wagler from Illinois. You know, like there's a decent, good crop of guys. Again, they've ultimately decided they've rather had Zubac than any of them, but they would much rather have Zubac and Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson. That's obviously what they're shooting for, and, you know, the combination of lottery balls will determine that.
Yeah, and it would just really suck
for the Pacers to not get one of those after this season, and with what they have coming back and have added. I mean, they'll
still be good. I mean, I think the key piece.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying they are so set up for it. If they get that piece to be, hello, come on, for a few years,
right?
But then the question is, who, if you get one of those, if you get a top 3 pick, which fits best? Which do you want? I know we've talked about this before, but they're such different players. Cameron Boozer is different than AJ DeBanza, who's different than Darren Peterson. Then Darren Peterson, does he have a health issue? What's the situation with that? So there's, it's so weird because we've got the NFL draft coming up. We don't know everything, but we kind of know, we know where the first guy's going. Sure. Which it's not guaranteed, but we know. But we don't know diddly other than who the top 3 guys are going to be. No idea. I mean, just a guess where they could go, but we don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's the Peterson thing is fascinating, going forward. Because I mean, I think if you were to say, all right, honestly, I mean, I've waffled just myself in terms of throw darts to the wall. Who do you think they should take? I would have said probably 3 weeks ago, I probably would have said Peterson, because I think his style of play really fits this, sort of ball movement driven offense where the ball's popping all the time and you're trying to make quick decisions. Peterson as a catch and shoot guy is fantastic. As catch and shoot or catch and go, he's really good in those circumstances. And it doesn't seem to me like he needs to have the ball for a long period of time. He's not a guy that stops the ball, where Mathurin had some issues there. And I think I see in Darren Peterson a lot of things they were trying to get Benedict Mathurin to do for years. And so Peterson looks to me that's the perfect fit for an off the bench 2 guard that's going to be able to score a lot of points in a hurry. And so, that fits really, really well. I mean, I could just see the ball finding him and him drilling threes, and that, I can see what that looks like. But if they were to get the number 1 overall pick, you do have to make sure that guy is not just around, but that guy does still have to matter for you for years past. You don't, if you get that opportunity, and the Pacers have never had a number 1 pick in their entire existence, as long as they have been playing in the NBA, they have never picked number 1. So you do want that guy to be a guy that can play next to Halliburton for a decade. I mean, I think Siakam's got more in him than I don't want to say most guys his age. I mean, I think he'll be effective to 36, 37. Somewhere.
If that's the criteria, then that automatically, to me, makes it between AJ DeBanza and Darren Peterson.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, I think it's DeBanza, because I think
he can do so much more, man. He can get to the rim. Dude, he's 6'9". He's the tallest of the 3 of those guys. And he's explosive with the ball.
He's got wingspan. He's got ability to handle. He gets to the rim. I mean, you want him to be a better shooter, but he's getting better. I mean, I don't I think if you kind of, I don't know if this is true, but it feels that way just from looking at it, that if you kind of put his kind of season together in 10-game blocks, each one he's a better shooter. I'd have to look at that, but that's from my eye test thought of it. I feel like I see him having much better form shooting the basketball than he did at the beginning of the year. I mean, both on mid-range.
And we all know when you get to the NBA, the first thing they do is work on your shot. I will always remember the first thing the Celtics did with Romeo Langford was tape a ping pong paddle to his left hand when he shot to work on his shot, because he was not a good shooter.
Right.
People want to say it was his thumb. No, he was not a good shooter.
No,
but DeBanza, I mean, you can improve shooting. You can't improve the ability to attack the rim, because a lot of that is God-given.
Yeah.
Those are God-given talents there. So you can't create those, man. And
but I mean, that's stuff matter. You have to be good enough. And I'm looking at, DeBanza's up to 36%. He's 41 of 113 on the year. And I mean, he's got an offer on January 17th. And that's the last time he didn't hit at least 1 3 in a game. He's got he was 4 of 5 the next game against Utah. He had a 5 of 8 against Oklahoma State. He had a 3 of 4 against Houston. I mean, like he's hit 2 each in each of the last 4 games. So it's like that's 8 of what am I looking at here? 8 of 21, which isn't, like it's what is that? I mean, somewhere around 40%. I mean, like he is getting better, and so like I just see a lot of growth in him, and I think like he has got the most potential to go, where like I think Peterson is a lot of what he can be. Boozer's fantastic, but like he is an awkward fit roster wise, especially since they got Zubac. And so you're looking at Zubac and Siakam. He's not starting over one of those two guys.
Nope.
Like no chance. So you've got. I mean, I guess you can make him your backup 5 next year, instead of Jay Huff, and play him with Obi Toppin, and you've got an interesting duo there. And that gets him like 15 minutes a game, and that's a little weird. I mean, you'll take him. You'll find a way if you get Cameron Boozer. Like you'll play him minutes because he's an NBA ready player. He's the most. I'm sure he walks in on day 1 and is productive guy of this 4. He is going to play and going to be like, he is just so smart. He's got so many skills. He is so adult in terms of how he's built, in terms of how he operates. I am sure he's going to be a good NBA player, more than I am of any of them. He's just not fit for the Pacers. He's a little bit, but he's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to be an all-star, but like, you're going to be able to. He's going to be a solid
12, 13-year player in the NBA. Probably.
Yeah, his floor is that. His floor is he's going to be, and like doesn't make a lot of mistakes, makes an impact in so many different ways. He doesn't have this like athletic off the charts thing to him, but like he is powerful. I mean, he's built like like he looks like a senior looks. Like he looks like he's had 4 or 5 years in a weight room and he's 18, and that's crazy to me. But like he's going to be good. He would just be an awkward fit with the Pacers. But if you're picking 3 and DeBonsa and Peterson off the board, you're taking him and you're not thinking twice and you're finding a way.
Are you?
Yes. You're taking him over Caleb Wilson. Like Caleb Wilson isn't a better, as much as he's very, very good. And I think Caleb Wilson is going to be a guy that makes an impact. Is going to be a good player for a long, long time as well. Wilson's a 4, and so like he's not any. I mean,
trade possibility.
What's that? I mean, he could
trade.
He could be your 3, but what's Caleb Wilson shooting from 3?
Well, not necessarily for Caleb Wilson, but for somebody else in the league, maybe that fits the bill. That
I mean, if you're like trading that, like the thing is, trading those picks is harder than you think. I mean, like people want them, but you have to include something else. Like you have to, the money has to match. Even if you think like even if they like that first round pick as much as they like the player they'd like to give you, the numbers have to match. Like you they might value Caleb Wilson as much as they value a $20 million player, but he's not making $20 million, so you can't make the deal. So
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Somebody else to trade. So what was that?
That's I'm just playing.
This is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'd get you told by 3:00 this afternoon with nail polish.
Do you just have Lebowski quotes, don't you? It's just
the whole world gone crazy. Am I the only one around here who gives a
nice
about the rules? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got to get some others up. What's some of your favorites?
Like
movie. Great. There are just certain movies that just have great movie quotes. I mean, some of my favorites, Coming to America and Life, the movie Life. Gosh, dang it. Anyway, well, what's some of your
my go-to quote movie? Two of my go-to quote movies are like, and it's mostly from that like mid to late 90s pocket when I was in high school and still, like had the time to watch a lot of movies, are High Fidelity and Snatch. Those are 2 of my all-time like great.
Love Snatch. That is just a freaking funny, great movie with so many people in it.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, you can't understand hardly a damn word. The only word the whole time, only words
caravan and fight. I'll do the fight. What the hell? I'll do the fight for free.
Exactly. It's about
Oh, my mom needs a caravan. Yeah, it's caravan. What the hell? I need a caravan and don't have any wheels. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's great. High Fidelity? Never heard of it.
You never seen High Fidelity?
No, never heard of it.
Dude.
What the hell is it about? Who's in it?
It's like grown up say anything, basically. I mean, it's like the back end. It's if you ever watch Rewatchables, the Ringer podcast, they just did one on High Fidelity a couple months ago. So John Cusack is the main guy. So this is from like 95, 94, somewhere in that range. And he's a, miserable 30-something guy who owns a record shop. And it's basically about him chasing his girlfriend, but it's all this. It weaves in all these musical references and stuff like that. It's brilliant. There are so many great lines in High Fidelity. It's I don't know. It's fantastic. Some people hate it, and I get it because like he's, I shouldn't like John Cusack's character as much as I do. But he's terrific. He's tremendous. I highly recommend High Fidelity to anybody who hasn't seen it.
You take sugar. No, thank you, Turkish. I'm sweet enough.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I love it.
It never.
Dustin Dopirak, make sure you're following him to keep up with all of the Pacers coverage as the NBA draft is getting closer. The NBA season, it's on the back.
The lottery is still 2 months away. We still got
That's not that long, dude.
No, it's not.
Think about it. It's not that only 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the college basketball season.
Yeah.
It's not about to be over, but about to be in the tournament. I feel like we still just finished the football season.
Right.
So crazy year, but enjoy the rest of your week, buddy. What's coming up next?
They go out west, so I go out west. They go to LA on Wednesday, and they get the Clippers, they get the Lakers, they get the Blazers, they get the Kings out west. That Kings game is going to be just magnificent. 2 worst teams in the league. That's just, circle that on your calendars.
Mike Woodson.
Find nothing to do on what day is it? Yeah, March 10th. You have plans. Kings Pacers.
The Fighting Woodsons.
Yeah, the Fighting Woodsons. So it's going to be.
Aren't they? Where are they? Like second?
Last. They're last.
Last. There you go. Indiana Fighting.
Last. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
The irony. Oh, how long are you going to be in LA?
4 days. 3 days.
Oh wow, dude. So surely you'll at least go out and do something fun since you're in the same place.
I will go out and do something fun. I've got to get up.
Comedy, man. I love going to the comedy club there.
Mm-hmm. There are many comedy clubs. Yeah.
Well, the comedy store.
Okay. All right. I got
over on damn it, Sunset Boulevard. It's in West Hollywood, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man, you could just sit there for just set after set. And comic comes up after each other, but I love just hanging out down there.
Yeah.
You've got all the old famous hangout spots, the Roxy, the Whiskey a Go-Go, just the old cool stuff, man. But there's some. I'd love to go see a concert at the Hollywood Bowl. I've never gotten to do that, but enjoy it, and we'll talk at you when you come back, my friend.
Sounds good. All right, appreciate
you. Have a great day, and tell Maxine have a good one.
Will do. She's chilled out already, so she's made her point, and now she's asleep. So
Dustin Dopirak, appreciate you, brother. We've got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're back with all that and more right after these messages.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursday, plus a new menu and next-level upgrades like private game suites and the high-flying human crane. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington on South College Mall Road.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
You're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area? You need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch your teams on the big screen and level it all up with the high-flying human crane. Private game suites and more, only at 731 South College Ball Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Jim Coyle with you on this Monday. Glad to have you. Glad to be with you and get your week started. I know earlier at the top of the show, I was talking about the racing over the weekend. Tyler Reddick in NASCAR wins down in Austin on the road course. Into the record books. He's the first driver to ever win the first 3 races of the NASCAR season. He won the Daytona 500, won in Atlanta last week, and then at COTA in Austin this week. For Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the co-team owner with Denny Hamlin, ironically, who they sued NASCAR in the offseason and won. So very unbelievable picture. They've got Tyler Reddick holding that trophy and with the 3 up, and then they're side by side, there's a picture of Michael Jordan with a basketball holding up 3 for his 3rd straight NBA championship. But yeah, crazy auto racing. It's fun, man. Fun stuff to enjoy, but great to watch out. The combine came to a close, as we said. We'll be talking more about that as the week goes on. Colorado, sadly, lost a quarterback to a single car crash. A quarterback, Dominique Ponder, died early Sunday morning. Very sad for that. Don't see any other lost control on a curve driving a Tesla, and don't see anything more on that. But just a sad situation in that deal. But glad to have everybody along today. I hope that you're staying warm. It's a little icy out there. It's not anymore, but it was. Kind of delayed the morning as it was a little slick. Athletes facing travel issues with this Middle East situation going on. So that's a deal that's happening. I think the Chiefs are going to cut Jawan Taylor before the NFL's new league year, barring a trade. There's all kinds of stuff they have to do to get under salary caps and this, that, and the other thing. Appreciate everybody for joining us today. We're back tomorrow to do it again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.